New episode of Next Up posted now. My reported monologue is on the New York Times and their inexplicable coverage of Graham Plattner and regarding their big investigative piece in which they just wrote an inexplicable piece. It looked like catch and soften, and then how they've treated their main source. When you treat a source, or you have a source on a sensitive story, you can't mistreat them. You have to respond to their concerns. And Lindsay has expressed a bunch of concerns. They've just not responded. They even went so far as to write a whole article about criticism of the story, and they addressed maybe 10% of the concerns that she'd raised. So that's my reported monologue. Then amongst my guests are Patty Solis Doyle. Jim, this is for you first. We talked about. I said to her when Hillary Clinton ran in 2008. What were the big attacks on her left? And one was the Iraq War, an Iraq War vote. I can't remember what she said the other one was, but the point is the Democratic Party left has moved further to the left than in 2008, and they're more influential in the party than they were in 2008. Here's Patty Solis Doyle, one of the smartest Democrats I know, on that issue. 124, please, from Next Up.
I think it's generational. I think we have young people coming of age who are, having a hard time finding a job, have strong views on Israel and Gaza, who having a hard time being able to afford to, buy a home, etc. And it's the new generation of voters who are like, this, maybe we should take a look at this. This is not so crazy. And I think what the 2028ers are going to have problems with is doing what Bill Clinton did so well in '92, this triangulation of going more right, but keeping the base engaged.
Yeah. Thank you. Somebody put in the chat the correct answer. The other thing Patty referenced was that Hillary was asked by Tim Russert about driver's licenses for people in the country illegally, and she didn't want to. She didn't want to piss off the left, but of course she didn't think people in the country illegally should have driver's licenses. But her answer, I'll paraphrase, was humana, humana, humana. The other candidates didn't get asked the question, even though they were equally stumped by it. But again, you consider those two positions now versus any moderate who goes to New Hampshire to have a town hall is going to have 20 young people in the front row chanting from the river to the sea and demanding to abolish ICE. Jim, how does somebody run for president with the party this far left in terms of the activist, energized base of the party?
You have to realize as a Democrat running for the nomination in that more center or center left lane that the majority of voters in Democratic primaries think like you. That's not the way it looks on Blue Sky. That might not be what shows up at the town hall meetings, but they are pragmatic voters and they want a centrist, moderate, center-left candidate. And in 2018, after AOC knocked off Joe Crowley, there were photos of me saying, is centrism dead in the Democratic Party? And, all the energies on the left. And by 2020, Joe Biden, who was the most moderate in the race, not only won the primary, he won it in a knockout. He moved left once he became president. That was his mistake. But I just think if you're a Democrat and you're falling for this, you're not going to win the nomination.
Brilliantly said. Tim, is Jim speaking with his head or his heart there?
I think he's speaking with his head. I've agreed with pretty much everything Jim has said. I respect. Yeah, I respect the hell out of Third Way. I think the problem is that the heart, and maybe it might be a little bit. His head might be wishful thinking. I don't know. I don't know if your party's with you, Jim. I don't know if you. I mean, you say. I guess the question is to you're talking to these candidates and saying they think the voters think more like you than the folks on Blue Sky. What I see and what I worry about is that increasingly the candidates do think the way the people on Blue Sky think. Right. I think that's the issue. And so, I mean, yes, I think your advice to Democratic candidates is 1,000% spot on. And then the question is, A, are Democrats willing to listen to the Third Way advice? And B, are the candidates who would even consider listening to the third way advice and then maybe ignore it, are they dwindling in number, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I will say, Jim,
You would know better than me. You would know better than me.
Jim has history on his side. The Democratic Party has always dominated this way, except twice in 2016 and 2020, they had to basically break the rules and use every bit of power of the establishment to keep Bernie Sanders from being nominated. But
Well,
with that small asterisk,
I don't agree with that, because in 2016, Bernie Sanders, he ran a spectacular race, but the reason why Bernie Sanders was so close in the delegate count is because he dominated the caucuses, where the turnout is much, much less. He got 61% of the vote in the caucuses and only 43% of the vote in the primaries. And primaries, the government runs that, and the caucuses, the party runs that. So
Yeah.
he won in the place where the parties won. In 2020, no, Joe Biden, no one thought Joe Biden was going to win.
Jim, first of all, I just have to push back gently. In 2016, them's was the rules. There were caucuses. So
Yeah.
you can say all you want that Sanders wouldn't have won in the primaries, but there were caucuses. And number
That's
two,
true. I'm not saying he broke the rules. I'm just saying the rules there, there were 16 caucus states, and that's where he got most of the delegates.
Yeah.
In
And in
2020,
2020, if Barack Obama,
zero caucus states.
if Barack Obama had not gone to Amy Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg, some people are sick of hearing me say this, but I never tire of it. If he hadn't gone to them and say, I need you both to do something no one has ever done in the history of presidential politics. I need you to quit a race where you have money in the bank and a chance to be the nominee. No one's ever done it. And Barack Obama got them both to do it at the nick of time, because if he hadn't, Bernie would have swept Super Tuesday primaries, by the way, crowded primaries, no winner take all, but Bernie would have been the nominee if Barack Obama hadn't pulled that off.
Well, Elizabeth Warren could have dropped out, and she didn't.
Yeah, but that didn't affect it. That helped.
It did, because Joe Biden won Massachusetts.
Yeah, but she got no votes. I take your point, though. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there's more news, but I can just tell you, Jim Kessler and his colleagues are focused like a laser beam on this. They're determined to smote, is that the word? The far left of the party. And I'm telling you, they can change history here, because on its current trajectory, you got a bunch of people who are scared of their own shadows. The very same reasons Barack Obama almost never talks about this, the very reason Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer pretend the socialists aren't taking over the party, all those same reasons will infect these Democratic candidates like Rahm Emanuel and Governor Shapiro, because their first town hall in New Hampshire, they'll be drowned out by people chanting from the river to the sea. And if they
win votes.
They maybe
drowned out, they'll win votes.
But if they have stiffened spines, it will be because of Jim Kessler. Good luck to you, sir. See if you can do it. Cozy Earth makes extraordinary things. Some of you have purchased them and send me long handwritten notes about how much you like them. And others of you just tune me out. But don't tune me out, ladies and gentlemen, because Cozy Earth makes great stuff, and now it's available to you at 20% off using the promo code TWOWAY. Just go to cozyearth.com and look around a bit. Think about what you need. You need some new socks, some new bedding, new towels, whatever you need. Order them. Use the promo code, and you'll see why so many members of our community find Cozy Earth stuff to just be one of a kind. One of the best parts of your day will be interacting with your Cozy Earth stuff. Viscose from bamboo, extremely comfortable. Nothing about it's flimsy. It's all extremely well made. The bedding comes with a 10-year warranty and a 100-night return policy. So try it for 100 nights. If you don't like the sheets, you send them back. It's that simple. They make returns easy. Everything from Cozy Earth is breathable, soft, and now built for summer. Go to cozyearth.com, use the promo code TWOWAY, get 20% off. And if you see the post-purchase survey, please tell them you heard about Cozy Earth right here on Two-Way Tonight. Hey, want to be part of the Two-Way community all the time? Hit the subscribe button. Great video clips like this, plus conversations like no other, full episodes, and more, always available on this channel. You got to hit subscribe to never miss a thing. You can now listen to full episodes of The Morning Meeting and Two-Way Tonight on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.